Da, 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 da.
Well, John, it is about that time. It is reaction video day, and by reaction video day, I mean Q&A day. We're going to react to your reactions to our reactions. It's real circular. It's pretty
It is
meta.
real circular, Dave, and I was completely unprepared for you to start this video.
I
But
know, it was
hey,
great. I did it in the middle of
that's,
an unconnected sentence just to see what you'd do.
yeah. Well, there you go. I didn't even have the
Oh,
screen up to see your face at that moment, So,
fantastic.
and what a face it is, Dave. By the way,
But it's a face for radio, if ever there was one.
so yes, as my mother always said, John, you'll make it great in radio. You have the perfect face for it. So, yeah, it is Q&A day, and boy, have we got a boatload, Dave.
Excellent.
A boatload. Now,
I'll give you a little hint. If you ever want to know that I most likely read your comment, it has to be in early because I generally I watch whatever video comes out of the day because I never know John's schedules at all. And I want to see like what edits he put into it and if he made fun of me because it always makes me laugh. And so I will read all the comments that have been put onto a video when I'm watching it, but that is usually early morning the day it comes out. So
right.
good luck, you early birds. You're the ones, or I guess different time
Well,
zones.
good luck. I don't know. Could be bad luck for them. But
It's
actually,
true.
so yeah, it's up to me to peruse, to browse the comments and pick some out that I think relate to new information on the song we reviewed or personal insults.
Those are my favorite.
They are my favorites too. So let's get to some generics here, Dave, before we get to one specifically related to songs.
Okay.
Blue Jazz says,
Mm-hmm.
I submitted Dave's thumbnail image to an AI image to text engine,
I'm super into wherever this is going.
and it returned fork in a microwave. So, Dave,
Oh, see, that's good. That's
that's
comedy.
real good.
That's hilarious. Fork in a microwave. That is fantastic.
You are a fork in a microwave.
My freshman year at college, we used to put a bunch of CDs in the microwave in the lounge just to see them spark, and we definitely destroyed that microwave. So I
I'm
weirdly
sure you
know semi what that would look like, a fork in the microwave. And I get it. That's what I have to say, AI generator. I get it.
Okay.
Oh, that's
MV
excellent.
says,
Oh, sorry,
and,
unconnected. I wonder. Just a quick question for Blue Jazz. I did you steal that name from a song that I don't know, or was that based on the book Blue Like Jazz?
which
'Cause
was an excellent book. Blue Like
Yeah.
Jazz was a great book.
Blue Like Jazz was a very interesting book for sure. I enjoyed
Better
the
than the
philosophy.
movie.
Well, I never saw the movie. I can't speak to that, but anyway, sorry. Go on. It's just what popped in my head.
Okay. MV says, and we briefly touched on this at the beginning of the video, but here's the whole thing. MV says, every, and I mean every time I see anyone bobbing their head and moving around, it shows me that they are not really listening, because right after, these people give vague generalizations about what they heard, but oh boy, we can surely watch them bob their heads. Ugh, clicked off the moment I saw that typical crap. Glad you put up ELP, but for crying out loud, put up people who actually listen and no fake it. Ugh, just ugh.
Excellent. From now on, I will take that to heart. This is my new listening mode. Ready? Yes, I do believe that song was inspired.
I noticed he played an E flat there, where
I mean, if you had gone to the rest of the video and you saw a breakdown, I definitely will talk about the song after it. Interesting
sure.
to click off before you hear what anyone actually says. But you know what? That's your personal choice. And I am very much for, if you don't like something, stop wasting your time on it. I do it all the time. So
yes,
weirdly enough, I'm on your side here.
And Dave, as I told you at the beginning of the video, like there was the good angel on my shoulder saying, it was you saying, don't respond. People
Yeah,
are gonna
don't
be
engage
people,
with
leave it
internet
alone.
strangers.
And then on the other side, it was the, that kind of. So I I did flick you off the shoulder as I did in the other video.
You always
and,
ignore me.
However, this side heard a little bit of what you said. So here's my gentle, loving response. You ready?
Oh, you're already wrong for
yeah.
responding.
I know. Yeah, I can't stand patronizing reaction channels. It's akin to panhandling or window washing. I wrote IMBO, which means to me, in my biased opinion. That's not what's happening here. You ever heard the book cover story, judging and stuff? Give this a full watch and tell me you maintain your position. If so, I'll send you a crisp $5 bill in the mail.
Oh, man. A crisp one? Not even an old crinkled boy.
Yeah, right.
What a special treat that will be. If I was her, see, I think you're dumb. And if I was her, I would watch the whole video, somehow like
her? I don't think it's
him
envy.
or her.
There's
Sorry,
no
him or
to
her. I would, if I was them, if I were them, I would watch the whole video. I would screenshot the end of it. And then I would demand my crisp $5 bill.
Well, Dave, that's not how this person responded.
No.
In fact, they apologized.
Oh.
How about that? How about them apples?
See, I was on their side until then. You missed out on the opportunity for a crisp $5 bill.
Yeah, clearly.
Because everything John asked you to prove was subjective. You could have just said you disagreed and gotten the $5.
Yep.
I've done
absolutely
way worse for $5.
But it was. We're not going to discuss that night in Peru. Yeah, so anyway, they did respond well, and in fact, they did give us a listen, and let's see, I'm trying to find their reactional comment. Boy, that's when we had the radio noise. Boy, can you imagine? Those were the days.
That was the older videos. I'm always stick all sorts of stuff on them now, which is interesting to me.
Here's what they said. You sold me. I will try you guys again. I was tainted by all the other posers' reaction channels when they must make faces and bob heads through the music. Blah, 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 vague, blah, blah, shame, get an apology. It's a shame that you get an apology. Anyway, no joke. I appreciate what you have said is their final word there.
Oh, man. In my face.
Yeah.
In my face, John.
Yeah.
I admit I am wrong quite regularly, and this is one of those times. I think that both you were right, I guess, in what you did. I still think they were wrong in missing out on $5.
Fair enough. Not even going to argue that point. So let's move on to some video comments. Now, we're getting, we're at over 1,600 subscribers now.
Really?
Yeah. So we're up there, and people are going back through our older songs. So we're getting some interesting comments out of. Let's go back.
I did that the other day. I just put on our channel from the very beginning and started listening to the older stuff we did, and it was actually kind of interesting. Walked back down memory lane of less than a year ago.
Yeah, really. and we have. I think we've improved over that time to a degree.
I hope so.
Okay, so this is some comments from What Is and What Should Never Be. That's not that weeks ago. David Carter says, commonly held that this is about forbidden love, adulterous affair, or underage girl suggested. It has been suggested that the woman in the song is the sister of Plant's wife, which we discussed in the video, right? Mm-hmm. Because, here's the thing that wasn't discussed in the video, she had a baby to him.
Ooh.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And this was proof that they had a relationship. That baby was born 22 years after this song was released.
Oof. So they had a 22-year-long affair? More. Like. Yeah.
And 8 years after his divorce. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
The underage part of the story is incorrect. But let's see here. People assume that they were busy back then. Well, he's saying it's incorrect, but when Plant was busted for marijuana in the late 60s, this same girl, that's the sister-in-law, accompanied him to court because the wife was too busy to do that. The sister was 15 years old at the time.
That is kind of weird.
It's kind of suspect. I'm sorry.
It's a little suspect. I can't make accusations. I don't know, but it's a little weird.
Lee Blotniak. How would you pronounce BL? Never. Who am I asking? Wrong person.
Wrong person.
Yeah. BLATNYAK. Blotniak. Blotnick. Probably Blotnick. A friend once told me that he didn't quite get Led Zeppelin. I told him, think of getting laid.
You know what? I'm going to try my best to remember that and go into these songs with that in mind.
Yeah, think about getting laid. Okay, hit play. Blue Jazz, who is the one who discovered you were a fork in the microwave, says,
You know what? You know what I have to say about you discovering that I'm a fork in a microwave? That's on my playlist. That insult is on my playlist. That is hilarious.
Blue Jazz says, crazy chemistry between these dudes, meaning the guys in Led Zeppelin. And he says, this is what I thought was funny. There was a 6% chance of spontaneous pregnancy for any young lady attending the live shows. Hilarious. I love these comments when they're that funny. Then he says, let me get this straight. Fidel Castro over here convinced Senor Doe to maintain the channel and lets his wife change old people's diapers so he can play D&D with his friends on a perpetual camping trip.
Man, if that was an actual description of my life, it'd be dope. To be clear, I have a job. I work remote. I don't just gallivant around.
Dave, don't let it bother you, man. Don't let it bother you.
Oh, no. I'm just putting it out there. I don't care. I think if your description of my life was accurate, I would own it and love it. Also, my wife is in all of my D&D campaigns. So, side note, she plays as well. But yeah, I actually do have a job. That's one of the reasons I'm busy quite regularly. Yeah, I just work remote as long as I have internet.
You know, I'm thinking that actually wasn't Blue Jazz who commented that, because there's a guy who just recently joined our channel who is determined to insult you as often as humanly possible.
Yes.
So I'll probably have more of those as we go along. We'll see.
I want to get the Fidel Castro hat, though, because I see the resemblance, right? And as I get older, like, it may come more. I'm not a cigar guy, so, there is that. Also don't really care to be in power. I'd love to have my own island, but I don't want other people on it. So it's a little different.
Why else would you have an island but to have people on it?
I don't want people on I want to be the only one on my island. It's my island.
Boring.
I would also name it Dirigible Island because I think it's a funny name for an island.
Dirigible Island.
Yeah, Dirigible Island. It's a good name for an island.
Don't float. All right, let's go to Blue Oyster Cult's Extraterrestrial Intelligence. This one is the Wayback Machine right there. That's a long time ago. We were discussing Baltazar.
Okay.
And I thought we had sussed out all the Baltazar references we could, but no. Baltazar may refer to UFO researcher Dennis Baltazar rather than the one of the biblical Magi. When Prophecy Fails is the title of a book published pseudonymously and whose authors were criticized as agents of fortune. That's the name of the album. King in Yellow is fairly obviously a reference to either the character or the fictional play sharing the name from Robert Chambers' horror gothic anthology, The King in Yellow. Chambers had the notion prior to Lovecraft of a work of literature that altered one's thought process if read. And for Chambers, that was the play The King in Yellow, while for Lovecraft, the mind-bending literature was Necronomicon. This is a possible resolution of the awful truth that discovering something about ETI might have permanent effects on one's mind. These are all parts of the lyrics of the song. Hot Rails notes that the Queen in Red may refer to the Red Queen from Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass. Okay. So there's possibly your King in Yellow and your Queen in Red from that song. That's all I think I got from that.
So I actually just finished editing a podcast. It should be up by the time this video goes up. My friend Mark does a podcast called Mr. Moonlight. It's called Moonlight Special is the name of the podcast. He plays a character called Mr. Moonlight where he plays music and reads a story. And he read a story referencing the King in Yellow.
No kidding.
Yeah, one of his, I don't know, it's probably episode 5. I want to say 4 or 5. Maybe 6, whatever. He's just finishing at the, I want to say in 3 weeks, all 8 episodes of this season will be out. I'm working on episode 8 now, so it'll be done on time. But I find that very interesting that I literally just listened to Mark read a story referencing The King in Yellow. Excellent podcast, Moonlight Special. If you want to check it out, I'm pretty sure it's wherever podcasts are.
Not wherever podcasts are, but it certainly is on Spotify.
It is submitted to the RSS feeds wherever podcasts are. Whether your podcast catcher of choice is downloaded or not is not a fault of Mark's.
Certainly not. Okay, now we're going to go to a reply from Sweet Madam Blue, the Styx song that surprised you so much with its America.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
Lucas Roth writes, love Styx and your great comments about what sounds can do to the soul. But ragging on the Constitution, just not cool on a music reaction channel. I respect your opinion because I know you're a very intelligent human and would have great arguments on that subject, but absolutely don't agree with it. We, the people, are pissed off.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you there in that we're an intelligent reaction channel. That is my specific disagreement with what you've said there.
Clearly, the acting is improving.
I have lots of opinions. In fact, I'll pull back the curtain a little bit. So I like disagreeing with John. It is a lot of fun to me to disagree
a hobby
with
of
John.
his.
It has been
while you tell everybody how
over a decades-long hobby at this point. If John takes a position, I generally take the opposite position. So sometimes I'd say things just to rile John up. In this case, I do have some opinions about the Constitution. But that aside, there are many a time where John will say something I actually agree with, but I take the opposite opinion on principle because I hate agreeing with that man. I hate agreeing with that man over there. Did you see what I just did, John? I pointed the correct direction the first time.
Me too.
Oh, look at you.
Me too.
So just know that going in. In fact, we recently did a video, and I don't know if it will not be up, I think, before this comes out, but we in the future we'll be doing a video about the Dream, what's the name of that band? Dream Orchestra? That is not incorrect. What is it?
Dream Theater?
Dream Theater. We do a video on Dream Theater, and John actually beat me to a criticism I was about to have, and then I sort of backed up my criticism to a point just to take the opposite opinion. But I was about to be harsher than John was with the criticism he made. And I came around to agreeing with him because at the end of the day, I did agree with him. But I hated myself for it. But there are often times I know what John's opinions are about most topics at this point. We've been friends for, a dozen years, more than a dozen years. So I quite often say things just to push his buttons, just to rile him up. That's because it's fun for me.
Wait,
like whenever
let me pretend I'm shocked by this.
Whenever you bring up your preferred mythology of Christianity, that's.
Oh, there you go. Always touching that third rail, Dave. Sure.
If there's one thing to know
rails,
if there's one thing to learn from this channel, it's never let your friends know what you hate.
For sure. Jacob's Ladder, we're going to move to. Jacob's Ladder.
I liked that one a lot. That was a good song.
And we have a candidate for best screen name of the week.
Oh, go on.
Prom Lesbian Production says.
That is excellent. That is excellent.
Well, let's just. I'm going to look through the rest real quick here. No, there's one I think that beats it this week.
Oh, all right.
So no offense to Prom Lesbian Productions, but
it's good.
I think
it's good.
It's pretty good, but I think we got somebody with to me a funny, interesting, and the screen name of the week for the Q&A. Anyway, Prom Lesbian Productions says, I always love cranking this song while there is an intense thunderstorm outside. Makes the song sound better. And then they posted 5 different rain or thunder clouds in the post there.
Oh, like emojis.
Yeah, emojis.
Hieroglyphics. I've started calling them hieroglyphics lately, and my wife
pretty
does
close
not
to
care
it.
for it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Then there's, let's see here. Oh, on that, I after we finished that video, I actually decided to do more research into the album itself, because when I was making the placard that we put up that says what song we're doing, I always get a picture of the album cover and I put it in your hands, right? Well, when I was doing the search for the album cover, I found 3 different album covers.
Really?
And I'm like, what's this? On the original, the one that I remember, there's a newspaper on the ground, and the newspaper has the headline, Dewey defeats Truman, and it's the Chicago Tribune.
Okay.
So I did some research on why, and then in other ones, it's completely blanked out. So I did some research. So here's what happened. Apparently, the Chicago Tribune objected to the inclusion of their newspaper on the cover of the record.
Interesting.
So in future pressings, they switched it to Dewey defeats Truman. They spelled Dewey Dewey. Defeats Truman, Truman, instead of the right spelling. But apparently that wasn't enough. And in future pressings, they just blank it out entirely.
Wow.
But
I
then
didn't know you could get angry at that. Like, you printed a newspaper and it's just out there, and then someone else grabs a piece of the cover, and you can just legally get angry at that?
Right. I didn't know either. But if you're the Chicago Tribune in 1970 or 78 or whatever, I guess you have a little bit more clout than a print newspaper does today.
Well, yeah, that's for sure.
For one thing, there's like 8 guys working it, right?
Yeah. And all of them are underpaid, like most people.
The rest of it, they just Google. They Google the news and print it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, newspaper people. Kidding.
Actually, local news is incredibly necessary. Without local news reporting, we wouldn't have most of the stories we have. So props to local journalists going out and covering local stories.
Absolutely. But then I further find that, first of all, the photograph that was used. Do you remember what the picture of the album looks like?
I can't say off the top of my head.
See if you can yank that and pull it up so you have some, something to do while I'm talking.
What's the album called?
It is Permanent Waves.
All right, go on.
So in the distance, there are billboards. And in the original photograph, they're Coca-Cola advertisements. But those were changed to the names of the band members.
Interesting. There you go.
So it looks like you've put up the original one, it looks like. And if you look to the right of the young lady, and you can see some things protruding up into the sky a little bit over there, those are billboards. And they used to be Coca-Cola adverts, but then I don't know if there's any way for you to zoom that in or whatever, but that now it has the names of the guys in the band. Yeah, that was zooming in perfectly.
That was nice. Also, I noticed that up here on the top we have heartbeats through the name Rush.
Yes, well, Permanent Waves, right? Waves.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I always thought waves is an ocean. It's interesting that Permanent Waves is actually a reference to a heartbeat.
Well, and somebody asked in one of the comments, hey, Rush fans, how many Permanent Waves are on the cover of the Permanent Waves album?
Oh,
and go pull it back up. Pull it back up. And I said, the only permanent wave I see is the one on the model.
I see what you're saying.
There, the hair, they call that a permanent wave. And she is clearly a person who's experiencing a permanent wave. The model, by the way, is named Paula Turnbull. The background scene is a photo taken by Flip Schulke of the Galveston, Texas seawall during Hurricane Carla, 1961.
Really? Interesting.
Isn't that crazy interesting?
Yeah.
So the waving man on the cover, you see him to the left, is the cover designer himself waving.
Oh, that's cool.
And he also played piano on different strings.
And this must be the second cover because Dewey is not spelled with a Y.
Well, the original one would have been, the Dewey with a Y.
Yeah, so this is Dewey.
Yeah, so that's the second
Defeats
cover, but
True
then
Man,
there's a third cover with it completely whited out.
Huh.
Isn't that interesting?
That's very interesting. I will say, due to how many suggestions we've gotten, I'm actually a little over halfway through Ghost Rider by Neil Peart. I moved it up. I had 2 books I had in my queue to listen to before it, but I finished the book I was on and thought, I'll skip them. I'll get to them later. So we'll probably put out a video of my thoughts on it. I've been keeping notes. I have thoughts on it.
There's going to be a book review. That's
we'll
what
do
I'm
a
very
book review
about.
because I definitely have thoughts.
Back to the woman in the foreground, Canadian model Paula Turnbull, Paula is also featured on the cover of Exit Stage Left. That came out in 1981. So
they stuck
I
with
guess
her.
they have a favorite model. Okay, let's go to Penguin Bondage.
That song. That song. I mean, the Monty Python video alone was just wild.
Yeah, it was. It was crazy wild. So Tim Wright writes, I'll add another Zappa song to the ever-growing list. He wants us to hear Valley Girl, not because he likes it, because it's kind of a novelty song in a way. And he writes, the novelty wore off shortly after the craze, but because of its 80s pop culture reference. Also, for trivia, are you aware that 3 of the 4 Zappa kids were in the 1998 movie Jack Frost with Michael Keaton?
Never saw it.
I'm like, really? And he says, Ahmet Zappa played the crazy snowplow driver. Dweezil played John Kaplan, and Moon Unit Zappa played a school teacher.
Wait, he has a son or a daughter. I don't know which one. Named Moon Unit.
Yes, he has a daughter named Moon Unit.
All right, that's a choice.
She is featured on the song Valley Girl.
Huh. Yeah, Moon Unit Zappa is definitely a screen name and not a real name.
No, that's a real name. I'm sorry, that is her real name.
Oh man, it's fun. Let me tell you, Dave, pretty boring.
Dweezil? You think that's any less than Moon Unit? The guy's name is Dweezil.
It sounds like Weasel with a dwee. With a dwee. A D.
Right. And and the other one's is named Ahmet, Ahmet.
Okay.
Ahmet Zappa at a party.
Yeah, I met Zappa once. He was a cool dude.
So there you go. And also in that Jack Frost film, Harry Rollins was in it, and Stevie Ray Vaughan in archival footage. I don't know. I don't know. Now I got to go back and watch Jack Frost.
Isn't it like a scary Christmas movie or something?
With Michael Keaton.
I don't know. I've never seen it. I can't speak to it at all.
Well, it might be a scary movie. Come to think of it.
Either way, it'll be a thing I'll look at later. What else we got?
We're going to Witch Hunt. Debbie Plato, a regular contributor, writes, fun fact about the making of this song is that the angry mob voices you hear, I always assumed it was just like stock old movie footage or something. It was the guys in Rush and their crew after a number of drinks.
Okay,
apparently they got toasty and then went outside in the snow and they were recorded as an angry mob.
You know what? That was a fun fact.
That's a fun fact. And here's something else about Witch Hunt that was brought up by at least 6 or 10 different people and completely unintentional, Dave. Our runtime for the reaction to Witch Hunt was 21 minutes, 12 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Couldn't have done that if I tried.
Couldn't have at all. Completely coincidental.
Well, our runtime in this video is already more than that, so not going to happen.
Yeah. I reply, I'd love to say that I planned that, but I didn't even notice it until y'all pointed it out. I said, maybe this is evidence there is an afterlife, and Neil is trying to tell us something.
I mean, he's a Ghost Rider.
There you go. Ghost Rider. All right, let's go up to industrial disease.
Oh, that was Primus, right?
No, that was Dire Straits.
Oh, I was thinking about Too Many Puppies for some reason.
Yeah, no, industrial disease. As a teenager in the 80s, I'm going to tell you the guy's team name after I give you his comment because I think this is the winner.
His team name? Is he playing a game?
Yeah, he is playing a game. His screen name. As a teenager in the 80s, I loved the clever, subversive lyrics wrapped in the Skippy tune. Haven't heard this in 20 years or more, and I agree with you that it's a great protest song, though maybe the humor lessens the punch. I always snortle at the thing, 2 men claim they're Jesus, one of them must be wrong.
This is true. I mean,
but
at any given time, there's always multiple people claiming they're Jesus. I mean, back when the supposed Jesus was alive, there were over a dozen self-proclaimed messiahs. So it's not new to claim you're the Messiah. Here we go. I'm the Messiah. There we go. I just added another one. I'm not.
geez.
I'm definitely
No, you're not.
not.
No, you're not. So this guy's screen name is, I'm going to spell it for you, Dave. Iagoinside.
I got nothing.
Okay. It's Iago inside.
Okay. It's Iago inside.
Iago, like the parrot in the Disney film, and inside. But if you pronounce it right, you're telling everybody to go inside. Hey, y'all go inside.
There's a little southern draw on it. Hey, y'all go inside now.
Y'all go inside. That's his screen name. I am tickled by this. So, coming up right here, you'll see between us the screen name award for the week.
Y'all go inside.
Y'all go inside. All right, Sultans of Swing, since we're on a dire straight kick here.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Jazz, once again, very busy here. Great little jam, but no social justice talking points? I'm surprised the Garden Gnome King didn't bring up cultural appropriation with the word Sultan. Oh, this is the guy that is insulting you. Yeah,
yes.
This is totally the guy.
First, wait. So I'm Fidel Castro, which totally see the resemblance. Wish I liked cigars. Gnome
actually, he
King,
said Fidel Castro.
Which is better. That's a better insult. And now I'm the Garden Gnome King. Is that right?
Garden Gnome King. Yes, that's you.
I'm the king of the garden gnomes. I'm not even just a garden gnome. You promoted me to ruler of my dominion, the garden gnome. So I salute you, subject.
Wow.
No, not a diss. I'm digging it. Keep these coming. You were cracking me up.
You called him your subject. You dissed it. You won him, man.
He voted for me to be king.
Agreed. And no, he just declared you king, so he must be a prince.
Which is pretty dope. I'll take a declaration of kingdom.
All right, fair enough.
In the words of I think it was Robin Hood Men in Tights, "'Tis good to be king."
I prefer History of the World, where the king is talking about his subjects and his assistant says, your subjects are revolting. He goes, you bet they are. And then the guy says, no, they're rising up against you. And I don't know if you've seen this movie.
Yeah, I have.
But they're rising up against you. And he's shocked. He's like, what? These are my people. I love them. And he goes, pull. And he raises a shotgun and one of his subjects is flying through the air as he shoots them.
I'm so sad they never made History of the World Part 2.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All that style of movie cracked me up to no end.
The peasants are revolting. They sure are.
Anyway, I can't always talk about my political leanings. But, if you want me to, thank you for bringing it up. As my loyal subject, please correct me if I forget it in the future.
There you go. On to Frankenstein. Elgon Williams says, this is new for me, too. Dan Hartman, who was a phenomenal songwriter, solo artist in the late 70s and 80s, and producer, plays bass on this track, Frankenstein. Rick Derringer is the guy playing the lead guitar. Rick Derringer is
also...
Of,
like, Derringer fame?
No. Rick Derringer of Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo fame.
Okay, not like the Derringer.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But Rick Derringer is playing the lead guitar. I mean, it is a weapon in his hands. He was also a solo artist and producer. Chuck Ruff on drums. His performance speaks for itself. And Edgar, who is a multi-instrument virtuoso. Lots of talent on that stage. Agreed. Dr. J-L says, since Dave said the words singing songs, I thought I would ask a literalist something that I have often wondered.
Ooh, go on. I'm not going to know the answer.
But
I'll make it up. Is
it right to call a musical piece a song if there is no singing in it?
Isn't that just called an instrumental?
Well, but is it still a song? That's what they're asking. I know it's easier to refer to an instrumental piece.
Yeah.
Such as YYZ or Frankenstein as a song, but is it correct?
That is an excellent query. I'm going to go with yes. And here is why I say that. Because in general, we, like to use the phrase, man, I have this song stuck in my head. And for me, I have had many a classical music piece stuck in my head, but I would still say the phrase, I have a song stuck in my head. So my personal opinion is that yes, an instrumental is a song because that is how we use that nomenclature.
And plus, all language is somewhat floating, and an original meaning being succinct, meaning a tune with lyrics, song, sing, song, may have had that meaning when the word was first created and used.
Yeah.
But through time, it has expanded to different use.
Yeah, I think it's just a
examples.
colloquialism at this point. Then that song is just, hey, there's some music, therefore it is a song. A song is a reference to the beginning, middle, and end of the piece of music, whether it has singing or not.
Exactly.
Yep. Personal opinion. I can't prove it. I'm certainly not a wordologist. That's what I'm going with.
No, not at all. And finally, we're going to get to some reviews, some comments on Sorrow by Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Anconia's Place, a frequent poster, says...
Anconia's Place? That's also pretty good.
Anconia apostrophe S place. Okay. Anconia's Place.
Of
course, I may have put the apostrophe in. I'm not sure.
I was going to say, that's a bar. Hey, you want to go down to Aconia's Place, get some hot wings?
Hey, when does Anconia's Place open up? Because
it's always open.
I could use a tall, cool one. You know what I mean? All right, here we go. Anconia's Place. Though it seems a bit of a cop-out, I think that a lot of this era Pink Floyd is directly a reaction and rebuttal to Roger Waters leaving the band in 1984. All parties engaged in a very contentious legal battle over the use of the name Pink Floyd, and ultimately David Gilmour won, but throughout the music and lyrics of A Momentary Lapse of Reason, which is what Sorrow came off of, there are indications that Gilmour is meditating on the loss of Roger and a bit of bitterness he feels toward Roger for not only leaving the band, but also for litigating to retire the band name. Ultimately, he needs to, and then this is cool, Anconia's Place uses other song titles of that album to make his final statement.
Oh, that's cool. See, and that's a thing I never would have picked up on.
Okay. Ultimately, he needs to learn to fly, fight the dogs of war, and not turn away from his fans as he felt Roger did.
Okay, that is well done. That is well played. I'm glad that John read me that comment because that would have just been a confusing statement to me.
Yeah. Next comment on the same song. We have 3 comments on this song. John Henke, Henke, Henke. For the light show, you can thank a guy named Mark Brickman.
Okay.
He's been doing their light shows since the mid-'80s. I think he took over in the middle of the Wall tour in 1980 for some kind of emergency reason. Basically, getting back to this 94 Pulse concert, the guys gave Mr. Brickman a blank check and said, see what you can do.
He nailed it. Good job, Mr. Brickman. You did a great job.
Yeah, Mark Brickman, I am a fan of yours. I don't know what you're doing these days. I don't care if you're doing lighting at a roller rink. I'm there. I want to see it.
Look at the strobe on the disco ball. I've never seen anything like it.
Right. Well, he did a disco ball. We haven't come to that video yet.
Well, you've told me that he at some of the other light shows on Pink Floyd we're going to get to, and I'm very excited.
He said other amazing light effects come from songs during this concert, such as Comfortably Numb, One of These Days, and several others. He said he enjoyed the concert from Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, and if we do the song On the Run, if you do the song On the Run, which we did, you get to watch the full-size airplane crash into the stage and explode, which we did.
Yeah, we did the entire album. It was super cool.
Well, we did all the songs from Dark Side of the Moon from the live versions taken from the Pulse concert tour. Right.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Mark Tandle writes, I've seen Pink Floyd live 4 times. I saw this show in New York in 1994. The concert brochure says the following. The stage is 120 feet wide. It takes a crew of 60 technicians 3 days to build the entire set, lights and all. Whew. The concert schedule required that there had to be 3 entire crews, so they had the stage set in triplicate.
Wow.
Right?
Because it took 3 days, so that means they were leapfrogging each other to always have the stage set for the next show.
Exactly. There were 92 shows on that tour, 20 trucks per crew, 60 trucks in total there, doing the math, a total staff of 195 people, and the tour cost promoters $98 million to put on.
Yeah, but how much did they make?
Total profit was $260 million.
Yeah, that seems like quite the ROI there.
Yeah. I'll take it. And then he compliments Nick Mason's drumming, matching David Gilmour's guitar emotions, while Richard Wright takes us on a magic carpet ride of tones. That's the keyboard player that formed the foundation of it all. So there you go.
All right. Excellent. Excellent work. I enjoyed every bit of that, from the good to the better, because honestly, those insults just make me laugh.
Yep. And we'll be. I commented, what was that? The first shot over the bow, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just getting warmed up."
Yes. I gotta say, you've done well, but like, ultimately, I am now king, and your king looks like a fork in a microwave.